Tribe, I become invincible with my 10000x bonus from the start. Chapter 21, Li Cheng's Shock. Tribe was a very expensive game. Apart from gold coins, there were also top-tier equipment. Moon Dance Cloak. Item description: Moon Dance Goddess's Cloak. It is said that it was made using moonlight. Item grade: Legendary, level 9. Item type: Hero equipment. Item level: 20. Item attributes: 1. Wearer's defense plus 3000, movement speed increased by 100%. 2. Hidden Moon, the wearer is in stealth mode during the night. Units below mythical grade will not be able to detect the wearer. When attacking an enemy, invisibility will be ineffective. 3. Moon's protection: when the wearer is attacked, this attack will be ineffective. Cooldown: 20 minutes. Poison Staff. Item description: the Poison Goddess Staff. The core gem contains over 10,000 types of poison. Item grade: Legendary, level 5. Item type: Hero's equipment. Item level: 20. Attack: 32,00035,000. Attributes: 1. Wearer's intelligence plus 3000, spirit plus 3000. 2. Wearer's magic attack plus 30%. 3. Poison: all damage is converted to poison damage. Each attack will poison the enemy. Lasts for 10 minutes. 4. Poison Domain: releases poison to the surrounding 1000 yards, poisoning all enemies. Lasts for 10 minutes. Justice Verdict. Item description: the weapon of the God of Justice. Deals immeasurable damage to evil forces. Item grade: Mythical, level 9. Item type: Military equipment. Item level: 1. Attributes: 1. Attack power of the wearer plus 30%. 2. Justice Verdict: when attacking, 10% chance to directly kill the enemy, ineffective against the boss. 3. Lightning Flash: when attacking, deals 20,000 damage to up to 10 enemies regardless of whether it lasts the entire lightning arc or not. 1 legendary equipment after another dazzled Li Cheng. In his previous life, the only legendary equipment he got was during a large-scale event a few years after the server opened. It was a street-level item that everyone could exchange for, but now, every single one of his equipment was legendary with top-tier attributes. For example, the Moon Dance Cloak could turn someone invisible. In the game, the cloak was an extremely rare component, and the drop rate was usually very low. This legendary cloak was worthy of its level. The defense attributes had already reached a shocking 3000 points. After all, the defense of a level 9 soldier was only 1800 points. In other words, as long as one wore this cloak, the soldiers below level 9 would not even be able to break through their defense. The most ridiculous thing was the third skill of the cloak, which made the wearer immune to attacks. There was still no restriction on immunity. Li Cheng did not know if he could be immune to the attacks of immortal grade units, but it definitely applied to mythical grade units. There was no need to say anything more about the poison staff. Its attributes had already exploded and its damage output was instantly maxed out. Moreover, it also had AoE skills. As for the final legendary equipment, Justice Verdict, it was an extremely rare equipment for soldiers. In the game, soldiers could also use equipments. This was also to give them more variation in the later stages of the game. If not, everyone would be a high-level soldier and their stats would be very standardized. It would be very boring to play with. Hence, the equipment of the soldiers provided a direction for the players to develop their own troops. It could also provide a large number of basic stats for the soldiers. However, the drop rate of the equipment for soldiers was extremely low, not to mention the equipment for mythical grade soldiers. It was an existence that no one had ever seen before. Justice Verdict increased attack power by 30%, directly increasing the overall damage output of the soldier. The two additional skills were also extremely powerful. Although the 10% kill effect was ineffective against bosses, it was a huge threat to the meat shield soldiers used by the lords in the later stages. At that time, the meat shield soldiers would become quite tough with their defense and resistance of their soldier equipment. At this time, the value of the kill effect was displayed. Coupled with Li Cheng's killing intent, it was simply a god-tier weapon. As for Lightning Flash, it gave the soldiers the ability to use AoE. This powerful effect made it a heaven-defying existence in the later stages. Thinking of this, Li Cheng did not hesitate at all. He gave the Lightning Flash equipment to the Frost Marksman. Instantly, a small ball that was spinning non-stop and flashing with lightning appeared behind the elves. The Frost Marksman immediately looked at Li Cheng gratefully when they received such powerful equipment. Other than the equipment, there were also 10,000 bottles of toxic smoke. This thing could attack, retreat, and defend. It could be said to be very useful. In the end, there were only a few gift boxes left. Exquisite Gift Box, Legendary. Exquisite Gift Box, Legendary. Shining Soldier Pack, Legendary. Opening a gift box was a process full of surprises. At the same time, the players loved and hated it. It was because the gift box could only be dropped from the system. There was no other way to obtain it. As for those that did not have a specific type of gift box, it was possible to obtain the soldier type, material type, and equipment type. Generally speaking, the items that came out of the gift boxes were slightly lower in quality than the grade of the gift boxes. For example, the chances of obtaining a mythical grade weapon from a mythical grade gift box was very low, and they were usually legendary. However, this was different for Li Cheng. For someone like Li Cheng who had ridiculously high luck and the existence of this 10,000 times amplification system, the items that came out would definitely be top-notch. Li Cheng could not wait to open the 3 gift boxes one by one. Ding, dong, you've opened the legendary exquisite gift box. At the same time, you've triggered the 10,000 times amplification system. You've received the legendary level 9 Goddess of Life Sai. Ding, dong, you've opened the mythical grade exquisite gift box. At the same time, you've triggered the 10,000 times amplification system. You have received the SSS-Class Forbidden Mage Class Advancement Stone. Ding, dong, you've opened the legendary Shining Soldier Pack. At the same time, you've triggered the 10,000 times amplification system. You've obtained a level 11 Heavenly Knight Recruitment Authority. The moment the system's voice faded, Li Cheng hurriedly opened his backpack to take a look. There was a crystal clear ring lying quietly in his backpack, emitting a faint glow. Goddess of Life Sai. Equipment description, made from the tears of the Goddess of Life. Contains the divine power of many goddesses. Equipment grade, legendary, level 9. Equipment type, hero equipment, limited to lord equipment. Equipment level, 10. Equipment attributes, when the wearer dies in battle, the wearer will be resurrected on the spot with full health. It can only be triggered once every 12 hours. Was this for real? When Li Cheng saw the equipment attributes, he was completely shocked. Chapter 22, SSS-Class Forbidden Mage. Full HP resurrection, was that not a little too exaggerated? A level 9 legendary equipment with a special function and full HP resurrection? This was the first time Li Cheng had seen such a divine equipment. He had to admit that it was really too abnormal. From then on, all of Li Cheng's units would have a chance to resurrect on the spot with full HP every 12 hours. This meant that he would always have 2 lives. Was this not being too much of a bully? Li Cheng felt a little embarrassed. Without thinking, Li Cheng immediately equipped it on himself. Then, he looked at another stone that was exuding an abnormally terrifying aura. Forbidden Mage Class Advancement Stone. Level, 1. Grade, SSS, only hidden. Effect, after use, class advancement to Forbidden Mage Class. Usage requirement, level 10 and above Mage class. This was actually a hidden SSS class. Li Cheng was shocked. Although hidden classes in his previous life were similarly rare, Li Cheng had still heard of some of them. It was just that he had never seen this particular hidden SSS class before. Li Cheng excitedly crushed the strange stone in his hand. A pitch-black light flashed and the surrounding space seemed to be torn apart. This light instantly entered Li Cheng's body. Ding, dong, congratulations on successfully changing your class to Forbidden Mage, level cap increased. Ding, dong, congratulations on the change in your growth attributes. The current growth rate additional 200 points in intelligence, additional 200 points in spirit, additional 100 points strength, additional 100 points in stamina, additional 100 points in agility, additional 200 free attribute points. Ding, dong, congratulations on learning a new skill, Elemental Affinity. You've also triggered a 10,000 times increase. You've obtained the skill Supreme Elemental. Ding, dong, congratulations on learning a new skill Power of Fire. You've also triggered a 10,000 times increase. You've obtained the skill, Command Flame. Li Cheng quickly opened the skill panel and looked at the newly acquired skills. Supreme Elemental. Level, Max. Effect, all elemental damage increases by 100%. Proficiency, Max. Command Flame. Level, 1. Effect, 1. After use, the soldier's attack will be converted into a fire-type attack. Lasts for 10 minutes. 2. When the soldier attacks, there's a 5% chance of causing an explosion to up to 10 units within 300 yards. Cost, 1000 mana points. Cooldown, 5 minutes. Proficiency 0/2,000. This class skill was a little powerful. Looking at the two new skills, Li Cheng was secretly shocked. The first was the attribute growth after successfully changing classes. The value was a little ridiculous. Normal players would at most have 10 points per level, while Li Cheng had a minimum of 100 points. This meant that Li Cheng's 1 level increase was equivalent to others increasing their levels by more than 10 levels. The two class skills that he had obtained were even more terrifying. A percentage increase in damage was already very rare. Supreme Elemental could double all elemental damage. Moreover, Command Flame gave fire attribute attacks to the troops. He did not need to fear that the troops would not have any elemental damage. Moreover, it was AoE damage. The value was related to Li Cheng. The stronger Li Cheng was as a lord, the more ridiculous the explosion effect would be. With these two powerful skills, even the most trashy troops could be reborn and become extremely powerful. After taking stock of the harvest, Li Cheng rushed back to recruit new troops. In a short while, he arrived at his territory. At this moment, the territory was filled with all kinds of resources. It became a pile of small hills. As soon as Li Cheng arrived, he used the building spawn rate card to build a few large warehouses and ordered the goblin miners to move all the resources there. Following that, he built a few large villas for the new members to rest. After all, if they did not rest for a long time, the morale and loyalty of the troops would drop, and in serious cases, they would immediately defect. Li Cheng was now rich, so he immediately decided to build large villas and called Luna over, wanting to use the Hero Advancement Stone on her. Ding, dong, you used the Moon Dance Saintess Luna's Hero Advancement Stone and raised her class to SS. Ding, dong, you used the Moon Dance Saintess Luna's Hero Advancement Stone and raised her class to SSS. The two advancement stones immediately filled Luna's class. Luna bathed in the bright moonlight from the advancement stone and successfully advanced. Her beautiful eyes flickered as she stared at Li Cheng. Her face was slightly red as she said, "Respected Oracle, thank you." Li Cheng nodded slightly and began to check Luna's attributes. Luna, the Saintess of the Moon Dance Church. Description: a Saintess from the Moon Dance Church, deeply loved by the goddess of moon dance. Class, Moon Dance Priestess. Level, 25. Grade, SSS. HP, 300,000. Mana, 350,000. Physical/magic attack, 3,000. Defense, 1,500. Skills. 1. Moon Dance, Max, Luna performs an inspiring dance. Effects, for all units within 2,000 yards, attack plus 100%, movement speed plus 100%, attack speed plus 100%. The duration is unlimited, interrupted by attacks. 2. Moonlit Night, Max uses powerful magic to change the time to night. The range is related to the maximum magic value. Lasts for 1 hour. Cooldown, 2 hours. 3. Moon Dance / Level 1 Luna releases a crescent-shaped magic energy, dealing magic damage to enemies in a straight line. 4. Moon Dance Goddess's Protection, Max at night, Luna enters an invisible state. Attacks on enemies are ineffective. Cheng nodded his head in satisfaction. Luna's attributes were not bad, but she was not a hero summoned by Cheng, so she was only level 25. In other words, the first 24 levels of attribute growth were the growth attributes of S-Class heroes. So even though she was already level 25, Luna's attributes were completely overpowered by Lillian, who was level 20. Fortunately, the level increase in the future would allow Luna's attributes to soar. The few skills that Luna had were also quite useful. Together, they could create a dark environment. One had to know that under the dark night, Cheng's troops could receive a lot of bonuses. Cheng was still looking forward to Luna's future. Chapter 23, Construction. Cheng started to raise the level of his territory. Ding, dong, you've consumed 200,000 stones, wood, and iron ores to raise the Lord's Hall to level 11. Ding, dong, you've consumed 400,000 stones, wood, and iron ores to raise the Lord's Hall to level 12. Ding, dong. Ding dong, you've consumed 2 million stones, wood, and iron ores to raise the Lord's Hall to level 20. Ding, dong, your Lord's Hall has reached the upper limit of level. Please complete 2 Lord's quests as soon as possible to unlock a new level. The territory's level once again reached the upper limit. Cheng opened the territory panel. Underworld. Level, 20. Guild, none. Population, 12,388/22,000. Area, 7,000. Expansion speed, 200 grid/day. City wall, none. Buildings, Lord's Hall, level 20, Basic Barracks, level 10, Basic Kitchen, level 10, Frost Shooting Range, level 10. Military Strength, 2,000 Frost Marksmen, level 10, 7,812 Goblin Miners, level 5, 78 Moon Dance Mages, level 9. Defense Facilities, none. Resources, 3 billion wood, 80.9 billion iron ores, 20.3 billion stones, 31 billion food, 48 billion gold coins. Resource points, gold resource points, epic. Upgrade requirements, 200,000 stone, wood, iron ores, 20,000 crystals, 2 completed Lord quests. Surrounding threats, none. A level 20 territory was 3 to 5 times larger than before, reaching 7,000 square meters. Seeing that, Cheng did not hesitate to use the territory expansion coupon. The territory expansion speed increased to 1,000 square meters per day, and the population limit was 22,000. Cheng started to look at the second stage Lord quest. 2 Lord quests. Quest description: under your guidance, everything in the territory is thriving. However, if you want to go further, you have to be prepared, be it in terms of military strength or defense. Quest difficulty, 5,000,000. Quest details. 1. Kill gold grade boss, 0/100. 2. Military strength above intermediate rank, 10833/20,000. 3. Territory defense building score, 0/100000. Quest duration, none. Quest reward, territory level resolved. Seeing this, Li Cheng was speechless. 5,0000000 difficulty. Was the Lord's quest for an SSS player that difficult? The requirements of the quest were quite harsh. For example, killing 100 gold grade bosses was enough to scare off the ordinary players. One had to know that there were very few gold grade bosses. The second requirement was to have 20,000 mid-level and above soldiers. This was another big problem. As for the third requirement, a defense score of 100,000 would require all the city walls to be at least black iron grade, as well as a gold grade defense tower. If ordinary players encountered such a territory advancement quest, they would probably be stuck here for the rest of their lives. Even the professional players and large guilds could only wait for the currency exchange to be opened and pay to complete this quest. However, these three requirements were not a problem for Li Cheng. He rubbed his chin and fell into deep thought. It seems like I need to make a trip to the Frost Dragon domain. After closing the territory panel, Li Cheng opened the building panel and began to build the newly unlocked buildings. He was now a level 1 lord and had unlocked many new buildings. Trading Hall, Forging Factory, Mana Extractor, Combat Academy, Basic Training Camp. These could all be built. For example, the Trading Hall was a place where players could trade. Whether it was the materials, weapons, or equipment they obtained, they could all be placed in the Trading Hall. The Forging Factory was where the forging function could be unlocked. As long as one had the blueprints, they could forge anything. The Mana Extractor was the place where mana was extracted from the crystals. This was because many buildings needed mana to support them. For example, the Forging Factory. If one wanted to speed up the forging process, mana consumption was essential. There was also the territory's defense tower. If one wanted to automatically defend themselves, mana would be consumed. As for the Combat Academy, it was a place to improve the skills of the troops. However, it required a hero to stay inside and conduct research. The basic training ground was a hack-type building that could increase the experience points of the troops as long as they were thrown into it. Buildings like the Combat Academy and the basic training ground were unique. Each territory could only build one of each. Li Cheng used the building spawn rate card to complete all the buildings that were being built. At the same time, he raised them to their maximum levels. At this moment, rumbling sounds resounded throughout the territory. Some things might be useless, but they could not be lost. After completing all of the items, Li Cheng opened the trading hall. At this moment, the trading hall was completely empty. In reality, this reason was very simple. Until now, only Li Cheng was a level 1 lord. The other players could not construct the trading hall at all. It seems like I have to find a way to speed up the progress of the other players, Li Cheng thought to himself. As for the forging factory and the mana extractor, they were not of much use at the moment. Li Cheng did not have any blueprints or crystals currently. Hence, Li Cheng went to the Combat Academy. Combat Academy. Level 10. Current research skill, none. Resident hero, none. Research method, to be determined. Li Cheng thought for a moment and put the Frost Marksman inside. Ding, dong, you have chosen the skill, Frost Freeze. Please choose Resident Hero. Resident Hero. Even if the hero was in charge of the research of skills, during the research period, the hero could not leave. Two options popped up on the system. 1. Shadow Princess Lillian, research efficiency 100%. 2. Moondance Saintess Luna, research efficiency 300%. From the looks of it, Luna was more proficient in the research of magic skills, so Li Cheng chose Luna. There were also two options for the research method. One was to fully study, and the other was to find time to study. Li Cheng naturally chose the second option. At this stage, he just needed to find time to study the skills. The basic training ground was also a very useful building. It was also an important source of experience points for the early stages. He opened the basic training ground interface. Basic training ground. Description: provides a training ground for the troops. Can increase the troops' experience points. Level: 10. Current training force: none. Trainable force: 0/20,000. Max level: basic training ground. It could already accommodate 20,000 soldiers, which was not bad. If he wanted to upgrade it further, he could only build an advanced training ground. However, that was a building that only existed in the mid-stages of the territory. It was still too early, so Li Cheng's eyes landed on the last two new buildings. Heavenly Knight Academy, Moon Dance Altar. Chapter 24, Heavenly Knight. First of all, the Moon Dance Altar was used by the Moon Dance Church to pray to the goddess. Apart from making Luna and the other believers feel better, this thing had no other use. Li Cheng did not plan to transfer his territory to the Trelaphanes Church of Light. He would not rely on anyone, not even gods. Trelaphane was a weak chicken. Li Cheng had spent 20 million resources to build this altar in the corner of his territory. Such a useless thing actually cost 20 million. Li Cheng could not help but complain. Next was the Heavenly Knight Academy. This was the focus of the day. Li Cheng had never heard of the Heavenly Knights in his previous life. However, it only proved the strength of the Heavenly Knights. Without saying anything, Li Cheng decided to upgrade the Heavenly Knight Academy to its maximum level. Heavenly Knight Academy. Description: a hidden training ground for the Heavenly Knights, able to train powerful Heavenly Knights. Level: 10. Daily output: 0/3000. Production type: Heavenly Knights, level 11. Production cost: 4,000 gold coins. Production time: 1 minute. Required to level up: max level. From the construction panel, it could be seen that the recruitment limit for Heavenly Knights was 3,000 per day. Li Cheng did not even think about it before he filled up his quota and used the acceleration tool. Ding, dong, you've spent 12 million gold coins to successfully recruit 3,000 Heavenly Knights. As soon as the system's voice rang, countless tall figures appeared in front of Li Cheng. Under the illumination of the bright moon in the night sky, the Heavenly Knights' figures appeared particularly tall and conspicuous. Their sturdy full-body armor flickered with a cold light under the moonlight. Seeing these Heavenly Knights that suddenly appeared, Li Cheng was slightly surprised. This was because these Heavenly Knights were all riding war horses, and these war horses were not ordinary war horses. Half their bodies were actually made of machinery. They looked extremely strange. Even their eyes and their eye sockets were made of machinery. Li Cheng hurriedly checked their attributes. Heavenly Knight. Description: a powerful Heavenly Knight from the 7th universe. Destroyed by the invasion of the mechanical civilization. Level: 1. Attack: 550-575. Defense: 200. Grade: 11. Race: semi-mechanical android. HP: 40,000. Skills: 1. Heavenly Leap, level max. Because the Heavenly Knight's warhorse is made of technology, it can fly in the sky, ignoring the enemy's deceleration effect. 2. Destructive attack, level 1. The Heavenly Knight charges forward and deals a terrifying attack on the enemy. The farther the distance, the higher the damage. When the distance is greater than 300 yards, the damage will reach its maximum value. 3. Heavenly Rage, level 1. Gathers all the energy in your body into your spear and deals a destructive blow to the enemy. Morale, max. Loyalty, max. Food consumption, 2,000/day. So strong. After checking the attributes of the heavenly knights, Li Cheng was stunned. He felt that compared to the frost marksmen, these heavenly knights were far ahead in terms of attributes. Even the other level 11 soldiers might not be as good as them. Moreover, these knights were actually air soldiers that could fly. In tribe, flying soldiers were extremely rare. Any powerful lord needed to have flying soldiers. These flying troops usually had extremely high mobility and could do anything that the ground troops could not. Based on Li Cheng's 2 lifetimes of experience, he could fully unleash the full power of the flying troops. Furthermore, the skills of the heavenly knights were ridiculously strong. Take the destructive attack as an example. It was a single damage skill. If all the knights charged at the same time and attacked accurately, it would be an apocalyptic attack. Heavenly Rage was a powerful skill. Not only did it have ridiculously high damage, but it was also an AoE skill. With such a combination of attributes and skills, even in the later stages of the game, it would still be an extremely powerful army. Li Cheng did not waste any more words. He immediately used his army spawn rate tool and recruited another 3,000 heavenly knights. Following that, he recruited another 3,000 frost marksmen. After everything, Li Cheng had 6,000 frost marksmen and 6,000 heavenly knights. It could be said that they were extremely terrifying, and such a terrifying force could be recruited again the next day. However, if that was the case, the population would appear to be very limited. Looks like those goblin miners need to be dealt with. At this moment, the system notification suddenly rang. Ding, dong, the player has been online for 10 consecutive hours. Please log off and rest. Only then did Li Cheng look at the time in the real world. It was already 10 p.m. After thinking for a while, Li Cheng had no choice but to log off. If he did not log off now, he would be forced to log off by the system. The newly recruited troops were placed in the basic training camp. Li Cheng was ready to log off. Currently, his territory was still under the rookie protection period. Until tomorrow's 12 p.m., the territory would be invincible. Li Cheng did not have to worry about the safety of his territory at all. Just as Li Cheng was about to log out, he suddenly stopped. His gaze fell on a young girl. It was Luna. Luna was bathing in the moonlight, quietly looking at the bright moon in the sky. Li Cheng thought for a moment, then walked over and asked, "Why aren't you sleeping?" Luna's face was full of sadness. She squeezed out a bitter smile with much difficulty and said, "Thank you for your concern, Lord. It's just that Goddess Moon Dance, she..." Li Cheng comforted her, "Don't worry, she'll be fine. Moreover, the Goddess of Poison can't break through her territory at all." What Li Cheng said was not without reason. How could it be so easy to break through the territory of a god? Even if the poison goddess's territory was increased by a few times, it would still be impossible. Moreover, Trelafani was not that easy to bully. Although she was a weak chicken, she had allies. Luna felt a little more at ease after hearing this. "Thank you, Lord. Rest early," Li Cheng instructed. "Okay." Luna then walked to her room. Li Cheng turned his head and saw another slender figure. It was Lillian. Lillian was not wearing the armor she wore during battle. Instead, she was wearing a pale white dress. The dress fluttered in the night breeze. It was beautiful. Lillian also noticed Li Cheng's gaze. She smiled at him. "Lord." Li Cheng could not help but gulp. To be honest, Lillian was a little too beautiful. "Ahem, Lillian, I'm going offline now. You should go and rest for a while." "Okay." Lillian nodded in agreement. Then, she said, "Lord, these dark elves." Although Lillian did not finish her sentence, Li Cheng naturally understood what she meant. Dark elves were the most notorious existence on the Lost Continent, and they were also the representatives of evil. It was normal for Lillian to be worried about them. Chapter 25, Famous. Li Cheng smiled and shook his head. Don't worry. They're all loyal believers of Trelafani. There won't be any problems. Lillian could only nod when she heard Li Cheng say that. However, she still looked in Luna's direction with vigilance. Li Cheng shook his head. Just as he was about to log off, a fragrance suddenly wafted over and his face became moist. Good night, Lord. After saying that, Lillian smiled and left. Li Cheng could see that her face was already slightly red. Li Cheng was speechless. That was too seductive. Li Cheng logged out of the game. After taking off his gaming helmet, he let out a long sigh of relief. After barely getting out of bed, he moved his somewhat stiff body. The current tribe had yet to fuse with the real world. Therefore, he was still an ordinary human, so naturally, he felt tired. He took some bread from the fridge and after a simple exchange, he took out his phone and checked his messages. I only have around 30,000 in my savings. It seems that I need to exchange some gold coins when the game's currency exchange system's activated. Of course, Li Cheng did not plan to exchange on a large scale. He only needed to exchange for around 100,000. A large-scale exchange was tantamount to suicide. The guilds, alliances, and other powers could easily find Li Cheng's location through the internet. He had to be careful. After all, before the two worlds merged, he needed to keep a low profile. As he ate his bread, Li Cheng opened the tribe forum. This was specially built by the officials for players to communicate with each other. All tribe players could speak freely on the forum. Moreover, their names were the same as their IDs in the game. Each player had one account to prevent the appearance of spammers and zombies. At this moment, the forum was abnormally hot. Professional players will guide you to conquer the world of tribe. Golden spears and iron horses, burning with brilliance. 100 Wars Guild is recruiting. One of the 10 great guilds. Please post your personal information. Thank you for your cooperation. Wolf Fang Guild is recruiting. Welcoming experts to join, preferential treatment. War God Guild, Player Netherworld, this guild sincerely invites you to join. Your annual salary is 1 million. If you join, you will be the vice guild leader. Oh. Li Cheng looked at the War God Guild's expensive and refined post. A million in annual salary? The vice guild leader? Li Cheng wanted to laugh. What was that? It was just a capital-operated guild. Other than benefits, what else was there? Such a guild was worthy of inviting him in? There was also the 1 million annual salary and the vice guild leader position. These were all jokes in Li Cheng's eyes. One had to know that the current Li Cheng had close to 5 billion gold coins. Li Cheng casually browsed through the posts. The posts were filled with all kinds of envious and jealous players. Li Cheng shook his head and started to look at the other posts. Most of them were posts discussing the content of the game, such as how to get through the novice period and how to clear the monsters around the territory. They were all very simple content and many of them were nonsense. They were simply misleading people. Some of the newbies listened to these posts and exploded at the start. In the end, they did not have enough food and starved their entire army to death. There were many similar occurrences. Li Cheng had been misled by these posts in his previous life. He was a little speechless. After thinking about it, he opened the document and started writing the game guide. The reason why Li Cheng did this was to increase the game progress of the other players and then, turn them into wage earners. Otherwise, it would be the same as before. There would be nothing in the trading hall. He would just be playing with air. Li Cheng was not afraid that these players would surpass him. In his eyes, these players were not worthy of being his opponents. They were destined to be Li Cheng's tools. In less than half an hour, Li Cheng finished writing the guide. It was just some simple and fragmentary ways to obtain resources in the early stages, as well as how to clear the weaker wild monster camps. After he finished writing, Li Cheng sent it out. As soon as the post appeared, it was noticed by the sharp-eyed players. Beginner's Transition Guide. Who is it? It's obvious that this kind of title wasn't written by a god, right? Yet, who would read such a post? Is it useful even if it's written by a pro player? But when they took a closer look, countless people's eyes widened. They were shocked to see that the ID of the person who posted it was actually Netherworld. Netherworld? Am I seeing things? F***ck, it really is Netherworld. Boss Netherworld has posted something. At everyone, stop playing. Come out and check out Boss Netherworld's post. For a moment, the discussion forum was in an uproar. Everyone who saw the post reposted the link. Li Cheng's post instantly received tens of millions of replies. This shocked the moderator of the discussion forum. He widened his eyes and focused on the post. The underworld boss is really powerful. How did he know that the kobolds could be recruited as long as they threw out food? Also, the monsters in this camp actually have a harmless fighting style. Those soldiers of mine died in vain. The underworld boss is really powerful. However, he said that we must get the durian shooter soldiers in the early stages of the game. If anyone has the area map, send it to me. At Netherworld, boss, after reading your guide, I'll definitely become a level 1 lord today. At Netherworld, boss is really selfless. He's willing to write us a guide of this level. I heard that Netherworld will sell level 4 soldiers at the trading hall tomorrow. Is this true? He's willing to sell level 4 soldiers. The forums were in an uproar, but Li Cheng did not care. He turned off his computer, washed up, and took a break. At the same time, in Tribe, a woman named Purple Rose appeared. Rose was one of the 3 big guilds of the Divine Dragon Alliance. The owner of the guild was Purple Rose, and she was the most famous and beautiful guild leader. Urgent notice. Everyone, go online and collect all the gold coins you can. If it's too far, forget it. When the upper echelons of Rose heard this, they were all shocked. It was already past 10 p.m. and many of them had already gone offline to rest. They were asking everyone to log on now. This was very likely to reduce the guild members' good impression of the guild. Someone replied, "Guild leader, what's the matter? Why are you in such a hurry? Can't we do it tomorrow?" Purple Rose shook her head and said, "It's a big matter. If we're late, we might not be able to make it." "What's the matter? Why are you in such a hurry? Guild leader, you should at least tell us something." Purple Rose's expression was solemn as she said, "There's news that Netherworld's going to auction off level 4 soldiers tomorrow. Our Rose Guild must obtain these soldiers. Actually, the soldiers are secondary. Our main goal is to establish a good relationship with Netherworld," Purple Rose said. This was her main goal. As the guild leader of a super large-scale guild in the Divine Dragon Alliance, she had a strong desire for talents. The best way to recruit talents was to cater to their interests. As long as she could establish a good relationship with Netherworld, with his strength, he would have a lot of advanced weapons and equipment in the future. If she could establish a relationship with Netherworld, she might be able to buy these equipments and troops immediately. At that time, wouldn't Rose take off? Netherworld's identity had always been the focus of the world's attention. She had to recruit such a strong person. If it did not work, at the very least, she could not become enemies with him. Chapter 26, Online Again, Unexpected Surprise. Such a situation was not only noticed by the Rose Guild, but the other large guilds also saw the strategy released by Li Cheng. While they were shocked, they guessed that Li Cheng was short of money. If not, why would he release such a valuable strategy so freely? In addition to that was the sentence at the end of the guide. "I'll be selling level 4 soldiers in the trading hall tomorrow. Those who are interested can come and buy them." This also confirmed that Li Cheng was short of money, so these large guilds planned to use money to rope him in. However, Li Cheng did not know this. If he knew that these large guilds actually speculated that he was very short of money, who knew what he would think? A night passed. After Li Cheng woke up, he washed up and went to the supermarket downstairs. After that, he found a snack stall to settle his breakfast before he went to book the game cabin. The game cabin was not only comfortable to use, it could also be filled with nutrient solutions. This was the most important point. With the nutrient solution, he could stay in the tribe game forever. As long as he rested in the game, his body in the real world would also fall into a deep sleep. It was just that due to the high price, knowledge of its existence was not as widespread. After buying it, Li Cheng opened the forum when he returned home and browsed through it briefly. His private account already had over 999 messages. He had guessed this would be the case. He clicked on the private message button and countless messages immediately popped up. At Netherworld. Boss is amazing. How did you know that skeleton warriors could fight like that? I've cleared out all the threats in the surroundings. Thank you, boss. At Netherworld, boss is a god. My territory's now level 5. I worked all night and was forced offline by the system. At Netherworld, boss, I want to ask you a question. How do I obtain a level 4 soldier? Li Cheng nodded his head in satisfaction. The feedback from these players was not bad. Some of them even stayed up all night. It seemed like the strategy was very useful. After closing the forum, Li Cheng put on his helmet and entered the tribe world. Ding, dong, welcome to tribe. I wish you a happy game, a familiar system voice rang. The interface of his territory appeared in front of Li Cheng. At the same time, a series of crazy voices rang. Ding, dong, while you were offline, a total of 6,000 members of the basic training camp have been trained. Obtain 60,000 experience points. Ding, dong, you've triggered the 10,000 times amplification system. Obtain 600 million experience points. Ding, dong, your heavenly knight has leveled up. Currently, it's at level 2. Ding, dong, your heavenly knight has leveled up. Currently, it's at level 3. Ding, dong, your. Ding, dong, while you were offline, you've obtained 2,920 experience points from Command Flame. Ding dong, you've triggered the 10,000 times amplification system. You've obtained a total of 29,200,000 experience points. Ding, dong, Command Flame has been leveled up to level 2. Ding, dong, Command Flame has been leveled up to level 3. Ding, dong, Command Flame has been upgraded to level 10. Currently, it has reached its maximum level. After a series of sounds, Li Cheng scratched his head. He had not expected that a building could also be upgraded by 10,000 times. Basic training camp originally only had 60,000 experience points. On average, each person would only have 10 experience points. It was pitifully little. However, after a 10,000-fold increase, it actually reached 600 million experience points. This was very frightening. The level of his heavenly knights could be said to have soared. From the looks of it, with the basic training camp, Li Cheng would still grow many times faster than those players who worked tirelessly to level up. The Combat Academy was even more ridiculous. It increased the level of their skills to their highest level. Li Cheng appeared in his territory, satisfied. Very soon, Lillian and Luna came over to welcome him. Good morning, Lord. Good morning, Lord. Lillian had already put on her body armor again, looking valiant and heroic. Luna, on the other hand, was still wearing a moon-white robe, looking solemn and beautiful. After a night of rest, their mental states had also improved significantly. At this moment, they were all smiling at him. Li Cheng nodded with a smile and went to collect his gold coins. As soon as he collected the gold cup from the resource point, he immediately received 3 million gold coins. Following which, Li Cheng opened the trading hall's interface. There were already many items inside. After a night of intense fighting, many players had become level 1 lords. However, these items were not of much value. They were either trash soldiers or basic resources. After giving it some thought, Li Cheng decided to first sell some resources, such as wood, stone, iron ores, and so on. He sold them in exchange for 100 million crystals each. Crystals were a resource that Li Cheng lacked. Moreover, there were no crystal mines around his territory. He could only use this method to plunder some crystals. After he was done, Li Cheng hung up the level 4 goblin miners and began to sell his troops. As a level 4 goblin miner, they only had one skill, which was to increase the rate at which they mined resources. This skill was of no help in battle. It could only be said that it was suitable for working. Li Cheng did not hesitate to list a big portion of the miners on the trading hall. Ding, dong, do you wish to sell 4,356 of the soldier type, goblin miner? After the soldier type is sold, the level will be forcefully reduced to 0. This was to prevent high-level players from cheating. Any soldier type that was traded would be forcefully reduced to level 1. Only then would normal players have a chance to catch their breath. Li Cheng set the price to 200 crystals each. It was up to them to decide if they wanted to buy it or not. After setting the price, Li Cheng confirmed it. Immediately, his territory became much quieter. The remaining goblin miners were arranged by Li Cheng to collect resources. At the same time, the players paying attention to the trading hall were shocked. One after another, they gaped at the trading hall's interface. F***ck. It's refreshed. Everyone, look at the trading hall. F***ck. So many resources. Whose is this? Why is it so awesome? It's Netherworld boss. Wow. Boss is too awesome. I happen to be lacking wood resources. Netherworld boss is truly a god. If you want to buy it, you must buy it. Wow. Look. Not only did Netherworld boss sell his resources, he's also selling level 4 soldiers. Really? Wow, this attribute's amazing. That's enough to go around. You can get the goblins, too. Although the goblins were only a level 4 soldiers, as tribe had only been live for the second day, it was already an exaggeration. One had to know that the players were still using their level 1 soldiers that came from the basic barracks. Level 4 and level 1 soldiers were completely dimension-reducing attacks. Even level 3 soldiers were nothing in front of the goblin miners. There was a huge gap between the levels. Chapter 27, City of Light. At this moment, the news that Li Cheng had placed level 4 soldiers in the trading hall had already spread throughout the entire game server. In an instant, countless players excitedly opened the trading hall, but they were quickly dumbfounded. What? Why crystals? Netherworld boss, can't I give you gold coins? I really lack iron ores, but I don't have crystals. This is too awkward. Everyone, who has crystals? Hang them up, I'll buy them with stones. Awesome! I happen to have a crystal mine in my surrounding territory. I have a lot of crystals right now. Aside from the independent players, the various large guilds were also dumbfounded. When they had received the news, they had immediately prepared a large amount of gold coins, waiting to purchase Li Cheng's level 4 army. In the end, what they needed now was crystals. This stupefied them. At this moment, in the Rose Garden, Purple Rose's expression was filled with exhaustion. In order to collect enough gold coins, she did not sleep for an entire night. Even an Iron Man would not be able to endure it. However, the resources needed to purchase them were actually crystals. Detestable Netherworld! Are you deliberately playing with me? Purple Rose's voice spread throughout the entire Rose Garden. The members of the guild were so scared that they were trembling. This situation was also happening in other guilds. They all felt as if they had been played. However, could they blame Li Cheng for this? At that time, he had only said that he wanted to sell level 4 soldiers with no mention of gold coins. Although the various large guild elites hated Li Cheng, they had no choice but to quickly collect the crystals. Although everyone cursed Li Cheng in their hearts, they still tried their best to collect the crystals with their panda eyes. As long as they gathered 200 crystals, they could buy them. If they were too late, it might be snatched away by others. After Li Cheng hung up the resources, countless people in the server were in an uproar. Countless gold farming groups, workshops, and players gave up on their current work and began to mine crystals with all their might. Those players who had crystal mines nearby immediately took off. Unfortunately, these people had become Li Cheng's workers. Ding, dong, player Little Toothpick has bought 500 of your stones. You've received 500 crystals. Ding, dong, player Want to Go to Jail has bought 500 of your iron ore. You've received 1000 crystals. Ding, dong, player World Domination has bought 40 of your goblin miners. You've received 8000 crystals. Ding, dong. Countless system notifications rang. Some of the IDs were familiar. These people would be the top great lords in the Divine Dragon Alliance in the future, but now, they were fighting tooth and nail for Li Cheng's goblin miners. After closing the trading hall, Li Cheng continued to recruit his troops. Ding, dong, congratulations on recruiting 3000 frost marksmen. Total cost is 4 million gold coins. Ding, dong, congratulations on using army spawn rate. Ding, dong, congratulations on recruiting 3000 frost marksmen for a total of 4 million gold coins. Ding, dong. Li Cheng still had a lot of respawn tools, so he did not feel any heartache when he used them. In a short while, an additional 6,000 frost marksmen and 6,000 heavenly knights were all recruited. Li Cheng's current territory population was around 20,000. As for the remaining 2,000, he would save it for flexibility. Looking at the recruited troops in the base, Li Cheng was extremely satisfied. Such a force was definitely in existence that could crush others at this stage of the game. Looks like it's time to make a trip to the main city. Li Cheng looked into the distance, deep in thought. However, the newbie protection period had already passed and the players had to consider the issue of guarding their territories. If the players were not around and the territory was stolen by other players or wild monsters, it would be a disaster. Li Cheng thought for a while and left 1,000 frost marksmen to guard their home. These frost marksmen were all max-level existences, and killing monsters would not bring any benefits. It would be better to leave them to guard the home. Li Cheng then arranged for 8,000 heavenly knights into the first knights of Netherworld. Similarly, Lillian led them. Compared to the frost marksmen, he preferred to lead the cavalry with the knights. The rest of the troops were led by Luna. After making the arrangements, Li Cheng waved his hand and said, "Let's go. Our target's the City of Light." In the tribe world, there were many aborigines. There were all kinds of races among them. Before the game players arrived, they had already lived on the continent for many years. Hence, these aboriginals had their own cities, which were the so-called main cities. These main cities were either the important cities of the various alliances or the sanctuaries established by the churches. Especially for the various alliances, their attitudes toward the players were different. However, they still maintained a neutral stance. They would often give out quests to the players and even recruit them into their alliances. When the new version was released a few years later, the players grew stronger and gradually left the control of the alliance. Then, the alliances and the players became enemies. The main city that Li Cheng was going to visit today was the City of Light. This was a small sanctuary that the Church of Light had established a long time ago. As time passed, more and more refugees sought the protection of the God of Light. Only then did this huge city with a population of tens of millions form. Li Cheng's marching speed was very fast. In a short while, the outline of the city appeared in front of him. The city wall was more than 10 meters high. From far, it looked like a giant fortress. Within the towering city wall, there were countless defensive buildings. At the top of these defensive buildings, there was a terrifying energy cluster. Looking at this huge city, memories appeared in Li Cheng's eyes. The City of Light, he had a deep impression of it. In the game version a few years later, when the underground army counterattacked the surface, the final mission of the players was to defend the City of Light. At that time, hundreds of millions of players in the entire Divine Dragon Alliance gathered outside the City of Light. The war was extremely grand, with hundreds of millions of soldiers fighting each other. At this moment, the moment Li Cheng's troops appeared, they attracted the attention of the City of Light's defenders. Looking at the elite troops in front of them, they were all shocked. "Stop, what are you doing?" It was not surprising that the defenders were shocked. Normally, players' troops could not enter the city, only lords could. However, Li Cheng was a god-blessed knight, and he already had the authority to bring troops into the city. The defenders did not know about this yet. Li Cheng stared coldly at the Templar knights gathered in front of him. On the city wall, there were many city-guarding weapons aimed in his direction. A man covered in armor and riding a tall warhorse stepped forward. His pupils constricted as he said anxiously, "Everyone stop. This is a god-blessed knight. Open the city gate and let them pass." Chapter 28, Exchanging Titles. Hearing this, the Templar knights looked at each other. "God-blessed knight? What's going on? God-blessed knights can bring in so many troops. Yet, I've never seen a knight who can bring in this many troops before. Look at their horses, what kind of horses are these?" Seeing the thick city gates open, Li Cheng did not say anything more and brought his troops into the city. The system notification rang in his ears. "Ding, dong, you've entered the City of Light. This city is only open to players from good and neutral camps. It's strictly prohibited to fight with malice. Please, abide by the relevant laws. Ding, dong, respected god-blessed knight, welcome to the City of Light. You'll enjoy the following privileges in the city. 1. Troops will be stationed and provided with supplies for free. 2. You can recruit up to 100 Templar Knights to temporarily join your territory. 3. You can receive the church's supplies every month. Not bad." Li Cheng nodded in satisfaction. At this time, he had already arrived at the inner part of the City of Light. There were all kinds of buildings in good order here. The style of the buildings was also leaning toward the Western Gothic style, and most of them were pure white in color. In the city, one could see the tallest and largest building at a glance, the Church of Light. Li Cheng first brought his troops to the military camp of the Church of Light for supplies. As a god-blessed knight, he could receive supplies for free. Not only was there free food, but there would also be free treatment from the church's priests to boost morale. "You guys rest first. I'll come look for you after I'm done." "Yes." After Li Cheng gave some instructions, the two leading female heroes gladly accepted the order and went to the church alone. The architectural layout of the Church of Light was not much different from his previous life. Li Cheng found the place with ease. Outside the church, there was a big bulletin board where players received quests. Li Cheng did not check the quests on the mission board. Instead, he walked straight into the church. The two Templar knights standing in front of the door immediately bowed when they saw him. "Welcome, Sir God-blessed knight." Li Cheng nodded slightly in return. The interior of the Church of Light was littered with pure white marble pillars, each at least 100 meters tall. The interior of the church was also very spacious. Li Cheng did not encounter any obstacles along the way and soon found his target. A young girl was praying in front of the statue of the God of Light. The girl's golden hair reached her waist and she wore a pure white robe. She looked like she was only 16 or 17 years old, and her delicate and young face was full of piety. She was the Holy Maiden, Asilia. The Holy Maiden had the highest status in the church. Her ability was very simple. She could communicate with the God of Light. Asilia was also an NPC that players could exchange various equipment and items with. Seeing Asilia praying, Li Cheng could only wait for her to finish. A few minutes later, seeing that Asilia had ended her prayer, Li Cheng said, "Hello, Holy Maiden Asilia." "Hello, Sir Netherworld Knight. I've heard about your deeds from Knight Rider. Thank you for your contribution." Asilia's voice was gentle, like the spring breeze. She looked at Li Cheng with a smile, but her smile suddenly stopped. Asilia was a little surprised and her expression was at a loss. She felt the aura of another god from Li Cheng's body, and the aura was extremely strong. What was going on? Asilia's face was full of question marks. Li Cheng could not be bothered to explain. He immediately said, "I'm here to exchange for the title of nobility, Your Excellency Asilia." Hearing this, Asilia did not answer immediately. She just blinked her big eyes and looked at Li Cheng curiously. After staring at Li Cheng for a long time, she asked in a low voice, "Well, won't your goddess be angry if you exchange for the title?" As the holy maiden of the god of light, she was familiar with the aura of gods. Li Cheng's aura was cool and cold, like the moonlight pouring down at night. However, this aura was definitely not from the moon dance goddess. She was not that weak, so other than her, there was only one other possibility. Li Cheng was also a little confused when he heard Asilia's words. Angry? Who was angry? Trelafani? That weakling would be angry? Li Cheng was a little speechless and said, "Cut the crap, Saintess Asilia, exchange my title." Ah! Alicia was stunned again, and then she said, "Oh, okay." She was a little dumbfounded. She felt that her little head was not enough to comprehend it. After all, Li Cheng was a believer of the moon dance goddess, and he was the top believer. But now, Li Cheng wanted to exchange for the title from the god of light. What did this mean? Two timing? Li Cheng explained lazily. At this moment, a dialogue box popped up in front of him. Ding, dong, please choose the title you want to exchange. 1. Baron, 100 million contribution points. 2. Viscount, 1 billion contribution points. 3. Count, 10 billion contribution points. 4. Marquis, 100 billion contribution points. 5. Duke, unknown. The corner of Li Cheng's mouth could not help but twitch. This was too terrifying. Just the Count's title alone required 10 billion contribution points. No wonder no one was able to exchange for the Count title even 10 years later in his previous life. The requirement for the Duke's title was even unknown. At this time, Li Cheng's contribution points could only be exchanged for the Viscount title, so he chose that. Ding, dong, you've successfully exchanged for the title of Viscount. Ding, dong, Viscount privileges are as follows. 1. The Church of Light's mission will not be restricted. 2. Your territory will be protected by the Church of Light. 3. Enjoy a 30% discount from the Church of Light's shop. 4. Enjoy recruiting 10,000 Templar Knights, able to command a battle of 1,000,000 knights. 5. Can issue missions to outsiders, with the highest being S-Class mission, no more than 10 missions per month. 6. Participate in the high-level meetings of the Church of Light's army. Li Cheng, who had been promoted to Viscount, had unlocked more privileges. Not only could he issue missions to the outside world, but he could also recruit up to 10,000 Templar Knights. In other words, he could directly recruit people from the church. It was still legal, but Li Cheng did not know if he could recruit high-level troops from the church. The church had legendary and crown troops. If he could recruit them, it would be a huge profit. Moreover, the scale of battle that Li Cheng could command had reached a maximum of 1,000,000 people. Such a scale of battle was already considered huge. Moreover, he had also received a promise from the Church of Light saying that they would protect Li Cheng's territory. As long as anyone dared to attack Li Cheng's territory, they would become enemies with the Church of Light. To ordinary players, this was tantamount to a dimensional blow. It could be said that as a Viscount, he was currently invincible. Suppressing the excitement in his heart, Li Cheng continued to browse the Church of Light's contribution points shop. Chapter 29, Crazy Exchange. Contribution Points Shop. 1. Soldiers. 2. Equipment. 3. Materials. 4. Consumables. Li Cheng opened the soldier interface. Low-level Templar Knight, level 3 100 contribution points. Intermediate Templar Knight, level 5 2000 contribution points. Low-level Templar Mage, level 4 1000 contribution points. Intermediate Templar Mage, level 6 4000 contribution points. As expected of the contribution points shop of the Church of Light. The lowest type of soldier sold was also a level 3 Templar Knight. However, there was probably a limit to the number of these Templar Knights he could exchange. It was impossible for them to create millions of them out of thin air. Li Cheng was not very interested in these low-level soldiers. He pulled down the menu. At the bottom of the soldier interface, there was a golden message flashing. Holy Light Priest, level 11, 500,000,000 contribution points. Current quantity, 1,000/1,000. Only Viscounts and above can recruit. Looking at this, Li Cheng was certain that normal players could not see the Holy Light Priest listing. Only Viscounts and above could see it. However, the contribution points were too high. Even if normal players saw it, they could not afford to recruit them. If I remember correctly, the Holy Light Priest is a very powerful single-target healer. It also has a heaven-defying skill like invincibility. It's definitely a king among the healers. Moreover, it's a beautiful young lady. Thinking of this, Li Cheng did not hesitate and immediately bought the Holy Light Priest. Ding, dong, you've successfully recruited the level 11 Holy Light Priest. Total of 500 million contribution points consumed. After this round of recruitment, Li Cheng did not have much contribution points left. Moreover, this was after the effect of all sorts of discounts. One had to know that as a Viscount, Li Cheng enjoyed a 30% discount. In addition to the 20% discount on titles, the two were stacked together. The discount was very powerful, saving Li Cheng a large amount of contribution points. Then, Li Cheng opened the equipment menu. Templar's Armor, Black Iron 4000 contribution points. Templar's Helmet, Black Iron 4000 contribution points. Templar's Gloves, Black Iron 4000 contribution points. There was a lot of equipment in the shop, but they were all equipment of the Church of Light's own troops. Moreover, they were all a set. After collecting the whole set, they would have collective attributes. In the early stages, they were considered very powerful. However, Li Cheng naturally did not like them. He continued to scroll down. Flag of Holy Light, Mythical 300 million contribution points remaining quantity, 1. As expected, it was still there. When he saw this item, Li Cheng's eyes lit up. This equipment was Li Cheng's main purpose for coming to the City of Light. This was an extremely powerful equipment. In his previous life, it was bought by a player. From then on, he took off and became the top player in the Dragon God Alliance. Li Cheng did not hesitate and bought it immediately. Ding, dong, you've successfully purchased the mythical Great Holy Flag of Light. Total of 124 million contribution points consumed. As soon as he obtained it, Li Cheng immediately checked its attributes. Holy Flag of Light. Description: the flag of the God of Light. It contains an extremely powerful holy power. Grade: Mythical, Level 2. Type: Military Equipment. Level: 1. Attributes. 1. Army's damage to all evil forces plus 40%. 2. Divine Light, when activated, soldier equipment heals 3% HP every second. Lasts for 10 minutes. Cooldown, 1 hour. 3. Divine Light Descent, when activated, soldier equipment will enter an invincible state. Lasts for 10 minutes. Cooldown, 2 hours. As expected, these 3 attributes were ridiculously powerful. First of all, they naturally dealt an additional 40% damage to the evil forces. Li Cheng's title also had this effect. That meant that his damage had increased by 80%, which was already twice as much. As for the Divine Light and Divine Light Descent, they were 2 life-saving skills. Divine Light Descent was amazing, needless to say. After using it, he would be invincible and could do whatever he wanted for 10 minutes. Divine Light could also continuously recover his health. If this was used on meat shield soldiers, the enemies would not be able to recover as much HP as he did. Furthermore, these skills were effective on all units. In the later stages, with Divine Light Descent, millions and millions of soldiers would enter an invincible state at the same time. How could others win with this? Li Cheng did not have any meat shield soldiers for the time being, so he gave the flag to the Heavenly Knight. The Heavenly Knight had high defense, but his HP was not very high. It could be considered as a way for the knight to save his life. After getting the biggest reward from this trip, Li Cheng was a little excited. He briefly browsed through the material interface. There were a few materials of the Church of Light, but Li Cheng still found what he needed. Hero Advancement Stone. As the name implied, it was used to help a hero break through a level. Lillian had been stuck at level 20 for a long time, so naturally, Li Cheng had to buy a lot for her to use. Without thinking, Li Cheng bought 1000 advancement stones and then bought some simple potions to restore life and magic. After that, Li Cheng closed all the panels. Asilia had long retreated to the side to continue praying. At this time, feeling Li Cheng's gaze, Asilia slowly opened her eyes and said with her red lips, "Viscount Netherworld, how do you and your goddess usually get along?" He was speechless. The corner of Li Cheng's mouth twitched. What kind of question was this? Could it be that Asilia regarded him as the holy son of Trelafani? It was no wonder. As a holy son of the God of Light, he had never received the highest blessing from the God of Light, but he had the highest blessing from Trelafani. Li Cheng said perfunctorily, "It's all right. She's quite easy to get along with." After saying that, he did not want to discuss it any further and immediately said, "Asilia, I want to receive the Viscount's supplies." Asilia hurriedly nodded, and the system's voice rang at the right time. "Ding, dong, you've received this month's supplies from the Church of Light. You've received a total of 30,000 gold coins, and 4 Wall of Light. Ding, dong, you've triggered the 10,000 times amplification system. You've received a total of 300 million gold coins and 40,000 Wall of Light." Hearing the system notification in his ear, Li Cheng was a little dumbfounded. 20,000 epic grade Wall of Light? What was going on? Li Cheng hurriedly opened his backpack. As expected, there was a total of 20,000 epic grade walls in his backpack. The walls of the Church of Light were not common items, let alone epic grade walls. This was a wall that contained spells cast by the leaders of the various large churches. Not only did it have outstanding defense, but it also had special skills. Wall of Light. Description: a wall with spells that has been cast by the bishops of the Church of Light. Its defense is powerful. Level: 100. Grade: Epic. Durability: 500 million. Defense: 1000. Skills: 1. Evil Retreat. All enemies of the evil faction will have their damage effects reduced by half against the Wall of Light. 2. Light Imprisonment. Attacks the enemies of the wall. There is a 1/3 chance of being imprisoned. Lasts for 5 seconds. 3. Advanced hardness, reduces physical damage by 50%. Seeing these attributes, Li Cheng was very satisfied. He had seen the durability and level before in the Misty Forest. The most important thing was still the 3 attribute skills. These 3 skills could be said to be very useful. Just the advanced hardness alone could directly reduce the enemy's damage by half. If the enemy was also an evil force, coupled with evil retreat, the damage would be reduced by another half. This was ridiculous. In the end, with the addition of the skill that had a probability of imprisoning the enemy, the 1/3 probability was already very high. Chapter 30, Vic was dumbfounded. Battle Conference. At this moment, Li Cheng was ecstatic. The 10,000 times amplification system was simply too awesome. It had actually given him 20,000 pieces of epic grade walls. Moreover, he could receive 20,000 pieces every month. If this kind of wall was sold in the trading hall, it would definitely fetch a sky-high price. However, Li Cheng did not lack money at all. Naturally, he would not sell this kind of good stuff. Originally, Li Cheng had thought of many ways to obtain a high-level wall. Now that he had the Church of Light's wall, it seemed like he did not need those plans anymore. Was an epic grade wall not good? Moreover, Li Cheng's level 2 Lord quest had been completed. 20,000 city walls were enough to completely surround Li Cheng's current territory. However, the size of the territory would naturally expand in the future. At the same time, inside a simple room in the Church of Light, a man was reading some documents on the table. The man's face was full of determination and his eyes were bright. His name was Vic, the second commander of the Church of Light's 2nd Legion. He commanded 3 super-large legions. Other than a few bishops and the Holy Maiden of Light, he was the most powerful person in the Church of Light. Report. Come in. A Templar knight pushed the door open and entered anxiously. Vic frowned slightly and said, "What's wrong? Why are you so anxious?" The Templar knight said anxiously, "Commander Vic, the Viscount Netherworld has exchanged for the Holy Light Priest." Oh! Hearing that someone had exchanged for a Holy Light Priest, Vic was slightly surprised. As a high-ranking official in the City of Light, he was involved in the pricing of all kinds of equipment, materials, and arms. The contribution points needed for a Holy Light Priest were extremely high. Ordinary people could not exchange for it at all. However, he had known about Li Cheng becoming a Viscount of the Church a few minutes ago. Since he could become a Viscount, his contribution points were naturally not low. It was normal to exchange for a Holy Light Priest. And Vic's expression did not change. "Commander, he exchanged for all the Holy Light Priests," the Templar knight continued. "What?" Vic did not care much about it at first, but when he heard the news, he suddenly sat up in his chair, his face full of disbelief. He hurriedly opened the transaction panel and looked at the transaction records. Only then did he see the display. At 9:50 a.m., Viscount Netherworld successfully exchanged for 1,000 Holy Light Priests. Vic was speechless as the corner of his mouth twitched. 1,000 Holy Light Priests were all of the priests of the City of Light. These priests were all treasures of the Church of Light. Now, they were all exchanged by Li Cheng? What was going on? Also, the Templar knight looked at Vic's ashen face and braced himself before saying, "Sir Netherworld Knight also exchanged for the flag of Holy Light." What? This time, Vic's face was as black as dirt. The flag of Holy Light had always been the symbol of the City of Light. Every time they went on an expedition, they took pride in this flag. Now, it was actually exchanged by a Viscount Knight of the Church. This made Vic feel like he was shooting himself in the foot. After all, he was the one who set up what people could exchange for. This mythical grade flag was only displayed to attract players. He had never thought that someone would have that many contribution points to exchange for this flag. Great! How was he going to explain this to the God of Light? Was this not akin to taking his own life? However, he could not go back on what he had exchanged for. He took a deep breath and suppressed the depression in his heart. On the other side, Li Cheng closed his interface in satisfaction. After spending all of his money in one go, he had gained a lot. Now, I've fulfilled 2 conditions for my level 2 Lord's quest. I only have one more condition left. Li Cheng looked at his level 2 Lord's quest and thought carefully for a while. Currently, he had 20,000 soldiers. If he had 100,000 defense points, just the epic city wall alone would have 10,000 defense points. If they surrounded the entire city, they would be able to earn tens of millions of defense points. Now, there was only one condition left to kill 100 gold grade and above bosses. Thinking of this, Li Cheng thought of a good place to kill the bosses. Li Cheng decided to leave. He said to Asilia, "Miss Saintess, I want to collect my troops." The 1,000 holy light priests that he bought earlier had yet to be seen. "Sir Netherworld, the holy light priests are gathering. Please, wait a moment." Then, Asilia said to Li Cheng in embarrassment, "After the priests have gathered, they'll meet up with your unit." Li Cheng nodded in understanding. After all, the holy light priests were high-level units. It would naturally take some time to gather them. Just as he was about to leave, a voice suddenly rang. "Ding, dong, respected Viscount, the City of Light is currently holding an advanced combat meeting. Please, head to the church's combat meeting." Ding, dong. The system's notification rang 3 times in a row. As a Viscount, Li Cheng had already been counted as one of the high-level combat strengths of the Church of Light. After bidding farewell to Asilia, Li Cheng walked toward the inner part of the church. Following the system's notification, Li Cheng came to an extremely large meeting room. At this moment, there were already more than 10 people in the meeting room. When they saw Li Cheng enter, their expressions changed. Li Cheng was now a Viscount, which was considered a very high rank in the City of Light. In the entire City of Light, only Vic was a count, so only he could suppress Li Cheng. Seeing Li Cheng, they could only helplessly stand up and bow, consciously giving up their seats. Li Cheng's face did not change as he immediately sat in the first seat on Vic's left. After sitting down, Li Cheng looked around and found that Ryder was not present. It must be true. In high-level meetings of the Church of Light, those who could participate must at least be at the level of a commander, commanding at least hundreds of thousands of people. Ryder was only a knight. Naturally, he did not have the qualifications to participate. Li Cheng then looked at Vic. He was familiar with this Vic. Not only did he hate evil, but his will was as strong as steel, as well as his strength. He was a high-level force in the Church of Light. If Vic could get help from the God of Light, his strength would quickly rise to mythical grade.